is superb. Just watch these guys now. Yep, absolutely top of their tree again. These guys joined at the hip and with absolutely the right sort of aircraft for this sort of work. It's a great rate of roll, really maneuverable. 200 miles an hour flies a really tight, compact display and enables them to keep the action right in front of you without having to go miles away. Flying, they're just 5 or 6 feet apart. Extremes of G, both positive and negative. When you pull it hard, you crunch up your stomach, creep and groan and everything else, and all the blood's trying to rush down to your feet, and when you go negative, it's all trying to go the other way again. Much harder to resist and a very, very uncomfortable feeling. So right now, if you're standing up on the beach, you're exerting 1G, i.e. your own weight. Just imagine these guys are pulling up to 5 and 6 times their own weight at times. Some of it upside down, and therefore all the weight is going the other way. We'll drop in and listen. They're very comfortable. Things almost totally together.
Yeah, explosives. You can't leave explosives.
Holding it and holding it there on the propeller, and then big boot full of rudder to a lovely starter. See that delightful colour scheme they're in? That's because they're backed by the Trig Avionics company, who sponsor the team for this year, and they design and manufacture avionics for very light aircraft. For those aficionados and owners perhaps of aircraft, you'll be interested to know they're equipped with the TT22 Mode S transponder, something that the European government, well, hardly a government, but their advisors to aviation, they insisted that all aircraft were fitted with this Mode S, and these enhance the aircraft visibility to air traffic controllers in crowded airspace. So it's a way of communicating with aircraft without actually saying anything. You get a coded number, comes back down to ground zero on their screens, and these very lightweight transponders are absolutely ideally suited to these light general aviation aircraft. Curtis Spitz, we have to thank for the design of this fabulous aircraft way back in 1942 in Jacksonville, Florida. His design first flew in 1944 with just a 90 horsepower engine at the time. It was, of course, in those but by 1962, the standard and a symmetrical airfoil was added, so that helps you fly upside down as well as you could the normal way up, and that's why they can do aerobatics so brilliantly. So a little bit of individual manoeuvre now. You see David flying away and Richard diving down to join in. couple of tumbles at the top there, making what we call in the business an avalanche. A few more of those going up as well. We create a thing called a lomchamak. That's Czechoslovakian cocktail. It'll give you a bit of a headache. You'll see the blades doing that a little later on in the day. And they're putting a roll in, we call a half Cuban, as he comes out of that. Gives it a roll, just 180 degrees, and then pulls up the other way. Hanging on there, almost running out of speed, and what he does, he puts a big boot full of rudder in and turns the aircraft, using the rudder only, what we call a stall turn. Skeleton, you had an aircraft that had a little fuselage, and that became a little stinker. Ideal aircraft to move on into the more super fast and agile things like the Extra 300s and the SBAC 342. These newer monoplanes having a lot more rigidity and strength, and enabling the pilots to pull even harder Gs way up into the 10 band. So here they are now rejoining together. Their final sequence. It won't surprise you to know that this aircraft has probably won more aerobatic contests than any other type of aircraft. It's been around so long and still today an absolute favourite. Great doing aerobatics. So, look what's going on now. Keep a close eye on these guys, because one of them turns upside down, and that means they're almost certainly now going to reformate in what we call a mirror formation. Very, very difficult, particularly for the guy who's upside down. Not so bad for the guy underneath, but there he is. You see he's tucked in close to the tail, right underneath, just 6 or 8 feet apart. Fabulous stuff. Guy upside down just hurting a little bit now as he has to push away from the other one, and he's pushing a bit farther, rolling back the other way, and oh, life gets back to normal again. Hear the buzz of some very relaxed chat going on behind me here. That's because these guys just practice so much, and they're really comfortable and at home with these aircraft and themselves. First of the pairs formations we're going to see today, and for me probably the most exciting aerobatics that you'll see.